Today we are going to review Zebronics NWZ WR150 3G Wi-Fi router. The router looks very basic in design and you can see there is no Wi-Fi connection, Wi-Fi on off button on it. This is one of the biggest drawback of this router. To turn on or to turn off the Wi-Fi, you have to go through the 3D setup. You have to install the router first, and through the web access control panel only you can disable the Wi-Fi. The router features simple connectivity and powerful security features. It is not a complicated device, but it looks very outdated in design in the UI. Let's connect the router and check out the installation process, and also check out how it responds through LED and what are the indication available on the body. You have to use this wireless router setup CD to configure the router in your system. You have seen that LED is turned on, the green LEDs. One of the drawback of this installation CD is that it does not work on Windows 8, it only works on Windows XP and Windows 7. This is NWZ CD setup. You can see the interface of the setup is very basic compared to whatever we find on any new router. There is an installation guide available. It is a PDF manual along with the user manual. If you want more information about additional features, you can click on any of this and read it. To start the setup, click on Start. Now this is the first installation screen. You have to choose the language here. Click Next. There are two options to install the router. One is wizard mode and second is advanced mode. Advanced mode allow you to manage more additional settings, but we'll go with the wizard mode. It is one of the most easiest way. The CD detects the router connection with the PC. Now from here you can enable and disable the Wi-Fi at the time of connection. We'll keep it enabled. This is the SSID, the name of router, the channel, the default channel, and the password. I am keeping it disabled. I am keeping it open for the first setup. Now this section allows you to configure your WAN service or whatever internet you are using. For example, you are on a ADSL or you are on a dial-up network, or if you are using a 3G USB dongle. This section allows you to choose what type of connection you have right now. First we'll go with the default option. We'll click on Next. Once the router does not find anything, any active connection, it asks you to choose a WAN service by manually. Just click on it and click Next. Now there are two options available here: Ethernet WAN and wireless WAN. Under wireless WAN you can find out a 3G option and iBus option. If you are using a USB 3G dongle, you can click on this and you can configure all the related information. Once it is filled up, the router will automatically connect to internet. We are having a WAN network, so we'll click on WAN. Here you can find more 5 options, more detailed option, where you click on dynamic or static IP, or you can go with PPOE connection, which is our default connectivity for ADSL modems. We'll click on dynamic IP. Click Next. The router will reboot in 50 seconds and it will configure all the settings. One of the biggest drawback of this router is that it is quite slow in response, and also whenever you modify the setting you have to reboot the router. As I had told already that there is no Wi-Fi on off button available on the router. Whatever you have to do changes, you have to go in the web access panel, means you will need a PC for that. While many routers that come at a price range of 1200 to 1300 comes with a Wi-Fi on off button on the body itself. You can see that's LED indication. Now the Wi-Fi light is turned off. It only activates when you are transferring data, or when any device like smartphone or tablet or any other laptop on the Wi-Fi is using the internet. It blinks only at that time, or else it remains turned off. Now as you can see, now the router setup has been over. This is a small test to check out the proper connectivity. Now the setup is over. We'll check out whether internet is working or not. You can find that in network and sharing center about we are getting a no internet access here. After a few seconds you can see it is turned to internet access. The internet is right now working properly. Now the net is working on PC. We'll check the same on a smartphone on Wi-Fi network also. Now this is the Wi-Fi. We can find in here NetWeast. Tap on it. Connect. There is no password right now, so it will be connected automatically. It is connected. So the speed is quite optimum, and depending on your internet bandwidth you can use the same internet on multiple devices. We'll now go in the web access panel of this Zebronics router and check out what are the other settings and other options provided on it. The default IP address of this router is 192.168.123.254. You have to type this IP address to access the admin panel. You can see a small log report available here which show you the current WAN status, your wireless status, whether it is protected or it is an open network, and other related information. You have to type the default password admin here to log inside into access more setting. Now the first page after that offer you the same wizard mode setup and advanced setup. To modify the setting you have to go in advanced setup. Now you can see there are 5 tabs setting available here, 5 different tabs, which begins with basic settings. Basic settings allow you to configure the router's network, DHCP and Wi-Fi setup. You can add a password here, you can change the type of Wi-Fi channel here. You can also authenticate the router, protect the router on the basis of different encryption standard available. This section, Wi-Fi wireless client list, tell you about any MAC address of any existing device which is connected to the network. Second is forwarding rules. This is like an firewall stuff. You can create your virtual server here. You can add a port and add a server IP. You can enable it, and once it is connected you can create your own intranet network with a protected boundaries. No one will be from outside can access the network and share the files. In the same way, security settings allow you to manage more stuff here. For example, packet filter, domain filter, URL blocking. You can add the name of a domain or add the name of a URL and it will be blocked by the router. No PC on the network will be able to access it. You can also manage MAC address control. Under miscellaneous setting, you can find some more additional security settings here. For example, discard ping from WAN side or DOS attack detection. When you enable this, the router keeps a track on whatever connection which is coming in your network. If it is a virus or if it is a kind of hack, it blocks the connection or it gives you a warning on the screen. Advanced setting offer you more related setting. For example, to check out the system log, to modify dynamic DNS, or to change the schedule rule or system time. Schedule rule is an additional setting that allow you to enable a rule only for a specific time. Once the time is over, the rule will be turned off. The last option, toolbox, offer you firmware update or to check out your system information and other log reports. So in this way, the router admin and web access is quite simple to use with many additional settings. Now, after using the router for a while, we found some problem with it. For example, first, if you go in the wireless setting and we add a password, we will select a common protection standard and we add a very basic password. Now the Wi-Fi is locked. It will be only accessed when somebody insert the password in his device. To enable the setting, to apply the setting, you have to reboot the router. You can see a warning message below here. The entire router reboots and it takes around 50 seconds. So this is a kind of a waste of a time. Each time when you change your router setting, you have to reboot it. While in many other routers, for example, we are also having a Netgear router which comes at the same price range, which does not have this kind of problem. And you can see here at the network connection section there is no connection available. This is because the router is is turned off and it is now starting again. The LED indication still shows that the WAN and the first port is active. We'll see after reboot whether it works or not. Now the restart time is over. We'll disconnect the smartphone and we'll try to connect it back again. Now once you tap on it, it asks for a password. You can see it is showing connecting here. A number of times many devices stuck on obtaining IP address, and in other smartphone and tablet we have also found issue related to authentication failure. Once the network is protected, many smartphones or devices are not able to connect with the router. There can be some internal bug with it. You can see it is still on connecting mode, but it is not getting finally a connection with the connection established with the router. So this is, see, it is again gone on connecting mode. This is a kind of a bug with the router only. We try to modify some settings also, but it is still on the same screen. Now second, see, it is now stuck on Jio. Now it is connected to a different Wi-Fi network, but it has ignored NetWeeze. So this is a problem with the router. Second thing, as I said, that there is no power button provided on there is no Wi-Fi button provided on the router. You cannot turn it on or off from the router, from the outside of router. We have to go in the admin web access panel. Again we have to log in that. Advanced setup. Now here is the wireless section. You can find a option here, enable and disable. Now if I click on disable, save, I have to reboot the router again. The entire process goes back from start. Now the second problem that we are facing after turning off the Wi-Fi, the router forgets everything. There are no settings available that can allow us to use the router under offline mode. For example, when you're using a router, you turn off the Wi-Fi, you can at least use the LAN with the PC. You can access the internet through PC because it is connected directly through a LAN cable. But in this router, the entire network is wiped out. You can see there is no internet access error. We'll check out this after the restart time is over. So there are some negative aspects of this router, means which are like one of the major drawbacks. The problem can be with this unit, or the problem can be with all the series under this router. Now the restart time is over. Still we are not able to get any internet access. The WAN port is directly connected to the router, and the router is hooked on the PC. So it should be at least allow us to access internet on this computer only, and the Wi-Fi should be blocked. But it is not working. Now I have to start the entire setup from CD again to activate the router, and then only the internet starts working. So this is another major drawback of this router. The price of Zebronics router is 1400 rupees. We found it loaded with many features, but some common functionality bug can create a lot of problem while using it. Thank you. Visit techirana.in for more product reviews.